What is a statistic that changed your life and view of the world forever? Welcome to Times Square. I'm standing here in the middle of the craziness to see how this feels. And I couldn't think of an old example, but there was something to this question that I remembered from a recent article from the New York Times. The article was called "It's Not Just Mike Pence," and in it was a study of how men and women in the US feel about spending time with people of the opposite gender that are not your spouse. So, for example, in this article, they did a survey, and now, as we are recording in Times Square, I am getting an ambulance passing right by. I guess you'll have to take that with. So in this article, they asked women and said, do you find that it is inappropriate or appropriate for a woman to spend time alone and have a drink with a man who's not their spouse? And they asked men the same question: is it appropriate or inappropriate for a woman and a man who are not married to have a drink together? And a full 60% of the women said it was inappropriate, and 50% of the men said that having a drink, just two adults of opposite gender that are not married, is inappropriate. And for me, this was really, this actually shocked me. They also asked about other things like having lunch or having a meeting together at work, and there the numbers were not as bad. But even in the most, I would consider the most harmless thing, that you have a meeting between a man and a woman at work and nobody else, and you're in a meeting room, still 25%, 1 out of 4, and this was the same for men and women, found that this was inappropriate. So it shocked me because, first of all, from that standard, I don't have a single day then where I'm not doing something that at least a quarter of the American population deems inappropriate. So that was the first shocker to me, that it's like, whoa. But then beyond that, I think this is there's so much in the media today about all sorts of industries about sexual harassment. Has really been kind of a major theme in 2017. And I think it's great that we're shining the spotlight on the really bad examples with sexual harassment. But I think we forget that it's not just the harassment. It's that we're in the U.S. as a culture where most people are almost afraid of doing something wrong with the people of the opposite gender, and we can't even have that conversation. We can't even engage with it in a way. That to me is very troubling, actually, and something that I'm really interested in the next year also, to see where we can take that conversation and stop only talking about policies and procedures for when the bad incidents happen, which is important and necessary and all that. But how can we begin talking about how men and women can have good, warm, quality, and appropriate relationships with each other beyond just the one person that you may be married to, and how to be in that space, which to me is so I would say natural, that it's such a part of my everyday life that it's hard to imagine not that. But apparently it's not for most people here, and I think that's a really, really important conversation to move towards. Those were some thoughts from Times Square. Thank you so much for listening. or watching if you're watching the video version of this. Have a good day.